everyone, it's Maki. What are the defining traits of the Gundam series? Of course, everyone has their own opinion on this. Some say it's the coolness of the mobile suits, while others say it's the intensity of the battle scenes. The complicated emotions and relationships of the characters are also key traits. Those are also major traits. This time, I'd like to talk about one of the major traits of the series' mechanical design. It's a feature tied to the commercial growth of gunplay and figures. Let's hear from some experienced designers. But before we dive into the main topic, I have a quick announcement. On my channel, I invite people to support me through membership. For just 99 cents a month, you can get a name badge and comment stamps. Alright, let's get started. Designer Akitaka posted a comment on X. It was about the announcement of the Master Grade Gunpei Full Armor Double Zeta Gundam. Full Armor Double Zeta was a design requested by Mr. Yoshiyuki Tomino. He said that this rate, Double Zeta Gundam can't win against Queen Manso. So please think of a reinforcement plan for Double Zeta Gundam. The story was already in its final stage, and there were no commercialization restrictions like those for gunplay at that time. When I submitted my interpretation of the Full Armor Gundam as a draft, it was adopted. Along with that, I ended up altering the design of the Double Zeta Gundam itself. The Full Armor Double Zeta Gundam is described as a reinforced and remodeled Double Zeta Gundam equipped with additional armor and weaponry. The form without the extra equipment is called the Enhanced Double Zeta Gundam. People seeing it for the first time might not notice, but it was given minor updates beyond the full armor parts. Changing the design of the Red Gundam, even slightly, is a difficult task. That's because it increases the workload for animators who must draw countless frames. However, since the enhanced form under the full armor wouldn't appear in the anime, Mr. Akitaka cleverly used that restriction to create the enhanced Double Zeta Gundam. That said, there's a scene in the story where the full armor equipment is removed and the Double Zeta Gundam fights. At that moment, the Double Zeta Gundam appears in its original form, not the enhanced one. This contradicts the setting Mr. Akitaka envisioned. However, given the constraints of meeting the anime's production deadlines, this was probably unavoidable. Mechanical designers always create designs with the assumption that they'll be commercialized as gunplay or figures. Kunio Okawara, the designer of the original Gundam, often built wooden models of his designs and presented them to the director or toy staff. On the other hand, there are rare occasions when a designer can create without restrictions, like in this case with Mr. Akitaka. It's in those cases that truly unique designs can come to life. That's how the enhanced Double Zeta Gundam was born. With the newly announced Master Grade Full Armor Double Zeta Gundam, attention should be paid to its appearance without the armor and weapons as well. This is exactly what I meant earlier about a defining characteristic of mecha design. Ideas born outside of commercial restrictions can gain popularity and later be commercialized. It's a fascinating situation. Since the design wasn't originally created with commercialization in mind, the gunplay design staff will likely have to put in extra effort. One recent example is the Zuga that stores the Infinite Justice Gundam inside from Sid Freedom. Mr. Akitaka also discussed the origins of the FUTs that appeared in Gundam Sentinel. Let's take a look at his comments. While working on the design for the full armor Double Zeta Gundam, I was responsible for some of the setting work for the 1/100 scale Double Zeta Gundam Gunpla. At that time, I was also thinking about a reinforced design for the G Fortress. The Hyper Mega Cannon was designed during this period. As the TV anime Gundam Double Z was heading toward its finale, a magazine was preparing a special feature article for which I submitted my design sketches. When the staff of a model kit magazine saw the sketches, they made parts by hand, and that's how the parts design was born. This process led to the creation of parts. Interestingly, it wasn't Bandai that took the lead in designing it, but rather the staff of a model kit magazine. The rights related to Gundam Sentinel seem very complicated, involving multiple companies and individuals. Although the details haven't been revealed, Gundam Sentinel rarely appears in games or other media. In particular, the rights surrounding the characters seem complicated. Recently, it was announced that the XS Gundam, the main mobile suit of Gundam Sentinel, will appear in the game UC Engage. However, El Villano from Gundam Double Z was announced as the standard pilot. The pilot was originally supposed to be Ryu Woods, the protagonist of Gundam Sentinel. The Gundam series has evolved thanks to designers who are free to express their ideas. This is one of the series' major traits. Designs that aren't created with commercialization in mind can still become popular and eventually be released as Gunpla. While this has advantages, it also complicates rights issues. Incidentally, Mr. Akitaka's comment included the phrase reinforced G Fortress. This mecha never appeared in the anime. Could the full armor Double Zeta Gundam transform into reinforced G Fortress? In the game UC Engage, there's a scene where the full armor Double Zeta Gundam transforms into the G Fortress while still equipped with the large beam cannon. Perhaps we'll see the idea of a reinforced G Fortress transformed from the full armor Double Zeta Gundam in the future spin-off. Mr. Akitaka also discussed the full armor Double Zeta Gundam in response to fan questions. First, let's review the fan's question. Was this design created from the start with the assumption that it was the enhanced type? Or was the name enhanced type and the detailed settings something that Bandai added later? Now, let's look at Mr. Akitaka's answer. I created the enhanced type setting. While designing it, I thought of it as a logical explanation to make the equipment seem more realistic. It seems the idea of the enhanced type came from Mr. Akitaka himself. Here's another question from a fan. Was there ever an idea to equip it with remote-controlled weapons like bits? Let's see Mr. Akitaka's answer. When we were making the Gundam Double Zeta anime, the assumption was that bits and funnels were exclusively used by the Neo Zeon forces. Within the Earth Federation, they were used on Psycho Gundam type mobile suits, but aside from that, such ideas weren't adopted for other mobile suits until the appearance of New Gundam. This is just a guess, but perhaps Mr. Tomino thought, let's save the idea of a Gundam using bits or funnels until Shah's counterattack to surprise the fans. If that's the case, then the red Gundam equipped with bits that appeared in G-Class is a fascinating creation. Let's read one more fan's question. Is it possible to enter and exit the cockpit while full armor is equipped? Here's Mr. Akitaka's answer. I didn't design it specifically as a setting, but I think it's possible. The protagonist, Judo, actually borrows it. In Sentinel, the parts was designed so that its armor couldn't be removed. So, I think the armor covering the cockpit section of the co-fighter must be movable. According to the designer, the full armor double Zeta Gundam does allow entry and exit through the cockpit. Some fans thought differently, imagining that the pilot boards the double Zeta Gundam first and the extra armor and weapons are attached afterward. In other words, they assumed that with the additional equipment mounted, the pilot couldn't get in or out. However, thanks to Mr. Akitaka's response, we learned that the pilot can enter and exit with the extra armor and weapons attached. Discovering little details like this is also really fun. It's fascinating to be able to check a designer's opinions directly like this. It's also enjoyable that fans have the chance to ask questions directly. The Gundam series has a unique quality. New stories are born out of exchanges between fans and creators. I feel like Mr. Akitaka's comments this time really exemplify that quality. Thank you for watching until the very end. See you in the next episode.